Welcome to another video clip of mrlopezclasses.com. In this video clip, we are going to analyze the report of the coolant analysis. We are going to analyze what happened with each individual metal or each individual mineral or each individual element dispersed into the sample of coolant. We are going to check where is coming that metal. What is the symptom when this amount of metal is over the limit, and what is the solution? This is the element that we are going to analyze today in this video clip. And later in other video clip, we are going to add it at the same table. We are going to add the codes, the OBD2 codes and the DTC codes related with each problem. I hope you enjoy this video. This video clip will be part of 3 video clips together. One video clip for the coolant sample, and the other one for the oil sample, and the last one for the OBD2 codes. Enjoy the video. Okay guys, we are going to analyze what happened with the report when you receive the report from the laboratory of the coolant. We are going to check what happened element by element. Let me explain something. We are going to analyze the elements divided in 3 groups. One group are the elements, the metals dispersed on the sample, metals. The other ones is additives. And the last group is contaminants. And I put on the slide those elements, additives and contaminants in different color. And additionally, I am going to explain to you, for example, the first one will be iron. And I put in front of iron the concentration of the particles of iron in the sample normally is in between 0 and 80 parts per million. In between 0 and 80 parts per million. What is the meaning of that? In between 0 and 40 is acceptable. It's normal. In between 40 and 80 is excessive. More than 80 is catastrophic. Alright, this is the nomenclature that we are going to follow for the rest of the elements. In this particular case, I have iron with a concentration in between 0 and 80. In between 0 and 40, half is normal. In between 40 and 80 is critical, is too much. But after 80 is catastrophic. Alright, we are going to follow exactly the same procedure per each element. The first one is iron. Where we found that iron normally? Yes, in cylinder liners. It's a ferrous alloy. It's a special steel with a high content of a cylinder. What is the symptom when I have problems on the cylinder liners? Yeah, if the cylinder liners, like I explained before, are perforated for the corrosion, pitting corrosion, of course, the coolant penetrate and enter in the combustion chamber, and you have white smoke. This is the first consequence. And of course, if that situation occur, probably you have the oil emulsified with coolant, and the color of the oil is a milky oil. Yeah, that's the first one. What is the solution in that particular case? This is the worst scenario, my friends. You need to rebuild the engine. Yeah. Probably if you found that the problem focused in one cylinder, you can replace the slip of that cylinder. Yeah, this is possible. But this is a big job. You need to remove the head. It's a big job. For that reason, I mark rebuild the engine. Sorry. The second one, where you found that iron? Yes, in the impeller of the coolant pump. Remember, the coolant pump, the majority of the coolant pumps are in aluminum, the housing, but the impeller is metallic, is in a steel alloy. It's a ferrous alloy with high content of iron. And what happened when I have problem on the coolant pump? What is normally the problem? The temperature is over the limit recommended. My engine is running hot because the coolant pump is not circulating the coolant appropriated. What is the recommendation? Remove and replace the coolant pump. Simple. Remove and replace the coolant pump. Be careful with the gasket. the procedure that I explained before. Other element with high content of iron, the head, the cylinder head. Of course, the majority of the diesel engines, they have cylinder heads in ferrous alloy, in a special steel. Alright, what happened with the cylinder head? What is the symptom? What is the symptom? Overheating. Overheating. High temperature. Temperature over the normal. What is the recommendation? Remove the cylinder head and repair the cylinder head, send to the machine shop or replace. I recommend replace. Other possibility for iron. High level of iron. More than 80 parts per million. The thermostat housing. Yeah, the thermostat housing, the majority of the diesel engines is in iron. In gasoline engines probably is in aluminum. Okay, the thermostat housing. And what is the symptom? Once again, probably is leak because it's cracked, it's leaking. And of course, what is the recommendation? Replace the housing. Other, the block. You have deterioration or cracks in the block. What is the consequence? Is exactly the same like the cylinder liners. White smoke and the oil emulsify. And what is the solution? Rebuild the engine and replace the block. Is possible repair the block? No. No. You need new block. It's too expensive. Okay, other element that we are going to analyze today. Aluminum. Aluminum. In between 5 and 50 parts per million. Okay. Once again, in between 5 and 20 is normal. In between 20 and 50 is excessive amount of aluminum. You need check this, check the engine, and more than 50 is not good. It's critical, it's catastrophic, and you need to stop and take other opinion, take a sample, send to the laboratory, analyze the situation. More than 50 is catastrophic. Okay, element with the data produce degradation of aluminum. Yeah, the heat exchanger, the housing of the heat exchanger in some engines is in aluminum. I showed to you in a previous videos. Probably that housing have a problem. In that particular case, if it's the housing of the heat exchanger, what is the symptom? What is the symptom? Normally you don't have a symptom. The engine probably is running with the normal operational temperature, and the situation is normal. But a high level of aluminum is not recommended. You need verify. What is the solution? In that case, remove and replace the housing. In other cases, you can see small leaks on the housing of the heat exchanger, and probably you need to replace the housing. Other one is the plates, the spacers of the and the plates. There are heat exchangers, diesel engines with the heat exchangers of plates composite, separated for O-rings, like the strainer that you have on the screen right now. This is a typical heat exchanger used in big diesel engines. They have plates and spacers, and those plates are in aluminum. The majority of those heat exchangers. What is the symptom? Once again, probably you don't have any symptom, but you can see leaks. You can see that the level of the coolant decrease on the reservoir. And the recommendation is replace the plates. Yeah, when you order the kit for this type of heat exchanger, you receive the kit complete of all the plates with the gaskets. Yeah, you need to replace those plates. And other possibility for aluminum is the coolant, the housing of the coolant pump. Yeah, probably the coolant pump is in aluminum, and once again you have a leak on the coolant pump. That's the normal symptom. And the solution is replace the coolant pump. That's simple, it's not complicated. Okay, the thermostat housing, once again, probably in some small diesel engines, the housing of the thermostat is in aluminum. And if you have a leak on the thermostat housing, probably the housing is cracked, or the surface of the housing is not flat and you have a leak, or the gasket is improperly installed. You need to fix it, or replace the housing or replace the gasket. That's That's the solution in this particular case. Other ones are aluminum sources in elbows in aluminum, yeah, this is very common. Fittings, pipes, yeah. Of course, you have leaks of coolant, and replace all of those fittings. That's the solution in that particular case. The expansion tank in some diesel engines, the expansion tank that is incorporated with the heat exchanger probably is in aluminum, and you have degradation of the expansion tank or crack on the expansion tank. In some cases, the expansion tank expand is because the thickness of the wall is degraded, and of course you need to replace as soon as possible the expansion tank. This is the solution. Simple. That's the aluminum. The other metal, very common, is copper. Yes. If you have the content of copper superior than 100 parts per million, remember, in between 0 and 50 is normal. In between 50 and 100, it's too much. It's excessive amount of copper. But more than 100 is catastrophic. All right, you need to stop the engine immediately. Okay, where is coming the copper? Probably from the heat exchanger. You remember the pipes of the heat exchangers and the divisions for the coolant circulation. Those are in a copper nickel alloy. You remember that? Okay, it's on the heat exchanger. What is the consequence? The coolant is mixed. The coolant is mixed with salt water, and probably you have a lot of coolant outside of the boat on the water, or probably the color of the coolant in the reservoir change for brown, and the odor is not good. Replace the heat exchanger. Other source of copper is on the fittings and pipes once again, and of course you have leaks, and the recommendation is replace. Other source of copper is the heater core. The water tank. Yeah, probably in that. Remember that you have one coil with the coolant inside of the cylinder with the fresh water. Okay, if you have a crack on that coil of copper, you need probably the fresh water is mixed. The fresh water is mixed with coolant. The fresh water of the house. Yeah, when you open the faucet, the fresh water is coming with coolant. This is an indication that the heater is broken and you need to replace the heater. Okay, my friends, and now we are going to analyze other metal. Other metal is silver. And the composition of silver should be no more than 10 parts per million. In between 0 and 5 parts per million is acceptable. In between 5 and 10 is excessive amount of silver, and more than 10 parts per million is catastrophic. All right, silver is coming from the soldering. You remember the solder for the pipes internally in the heat exchangers is with a silver brass alloy. Yes, if you have silver, it's coming from that point. That's the most common source of silver. And yes, once again, the coolant could be mixed with the salt water with the same consequence, and you need to replace the heat exchanger. And other is from the piping. Yeah, once again is on the solder of the pipes, and once again is coolant mixed with water, and you need to replace the heat exchanger in that particular case. Okay, other element is lead. The composition should be in between 0 and 20 normal. Between 20 and 40 is excessive amount, and more than 40 is catastrophic. Okay, lead is coming once again from the heat exchanger or the oil cooler. Yeah, once again on the soldering, it's exactly the same, and the symptom is the same, coolant mixed with the salt water, and you need to replace. Yeah, those are the sources. Those are the sources of lead. Lead is poison. Be careful with that. No? Okay, and zinc, very important metal. Okay, zinc once again is coming in the solder of the heat exchanger, and the same, the coolant is mixed with salt water, and you need to replace. Yeah, or in the heater. Once again, exactly the same situation, and you need replace the water heater, the element. Okay, my friends, other element that we are going to analyze right now, we are going to start with the inhibitors. Inhibitors and additives, both of them. And I mark those elements in blue color. Okay, what happened with barium? Barium normally is part of the coolant. It's one of the additives normally added to the coolant. All of those additives are good, but the excessive amount of those additives produce that a scale on the walls of external walls of the cylinder liners, and scales on the cavities where the coolant is passing, and accumulation of sediments and deposits on the oil cooler, on the reservoir tank. Alright, the barium possibilities, okay, the composition of barium is in between 500 and 900 parts per million. Yeah, in between 500 and 700 probably is normal. In between 700 and 900 is excessive amount. More than 900 is critical. Okay, my friends, this is the recommendation. It's coming because you have too much additives, excessive amount of pH buffer. Yeah, you remember those additives are used in order to keep the pH in the middle, in between around 7.5, in between 6 and 8. This is the normal and grade of the pH. But those additives with too much barium try to stabilize the pH, but produce excessive amount of deposits. All right, this is not good. What is the symptom in that particular case? Change in the color of the coolant and probably sediments. The solution is flush the system and replace the coolant for a new one. Exactly the same with the excessive amount of anti-corrosive additives. Those anti-corrosive additives are based on barium and produce exactly the same, change in color and sediments, and once again the solution is flush the system. This is for barium. Those are inhibitors or additives. Other inhibitor is molybdenum. And once again, the composition of molybdenum is in between 100 and 150 parts per million. More than 150 is critical, is not recommended. What is right now we are going to analyze the symptom. Normally is an special additive used in the coolant in order to avoid cavitation and in order to avoid the creation of a scale around the metals. But the consequence is once again change in the color and sediments, and you need to flush the system. All of those additives produce exactly the same cause and consequence. Phosphorus. Phosphorus is another inhibitor. Additives, the proportion should be in between 500 and 1100, and once again more than 1100 is critical. And normally when you have a excessive amount of phosphorus, is because the additive used to improve the pH produce that. The color change normally is like a brown color, and with too much accumulation of sediments, and you need to flush the system. Yeah, and also because the additives for corrosion, anti-corrosion, produce excessive amount of sediments and change in the color, and once again the solution is flush the system. Other inhibitor is potassium. Potassium, the proportion is in between 500 and 1100 parts per million. Once again is used to stabilize the pH, and the symptom and the solution is exactly the same. And now we are going to check the contaminants. Silica. Where is coming the silica? The silica normally should be in between 20 and 50 parts per million, a little. Yeah, because silica is sandpaper. You sand it internally, for example, the cylinder walls. Right now we are going to analyze. Yeah, it's coming normally from the air filter. If the air filter is clogged, this is very common in tractors, in trucks. If those trucks work in areas with too much pollution, absorb sand, the filter is clogged of sand, and some particles of sand enter in the combustion chamber and destroy the cylinder walls. This is catastrophic. What is the symptom? Loss of power. This is the first symptom. The second symptom is, of course, you need to remove and replace the air filter. The second symptom is a rich mixture. Remember, if the air filter is clogged, less air, the engine compensates with more fuel in order to keep the stoichiometric ratio at the same ratio. Yes, in that case, the color of the smoke is excessive amount of fuel, is black, and of course you need to check the injectors. You need to remove the injectors and send the injectors to the machine shop in order to test the pressure and the pattern of each injector. We are going to talk in the next episode about that topic. And the other possibility is cylinder wear. That's not good. How can I know if I have problems in the cylinder walls? Yes, my friend, you need to check the compression test. You need to check the compression test and verify what happened with the compression in those cylinders. All right, this is the procedure. Yes, this is with silica. Silica is not good, my friend. Silica is bad maintenance, bad service. Other is magnesium. Other contaminant is magnesium. What happens if I have excessive amount of magnesium? What is the proportion of magnesium? It's in between 0 and 15 parts per million. It's a little, but also it's catastrophic, the magnesium. It's basically when the mixture in between glycol and fresh water, the fresh water is not good fresh water. Probably it's brick water. This is one possibility. Or other possibility is that the salt water is entering a little into the coolant and is mixed with the coolant. Not too much, it's a little, but it's enough to increase the amount of magnesium in the content. What is the symptom in that case? The temperature, the operational temperature, increase over the normal operational limit. Right now is 10 degrees higher than the normal. Suddenly, this is probably because salt water migrate into the coolant, and you need to verify where is the problem. Where should be the problem? On the heat exchanger. Yeah, on the heat exchanger in that case. Okay, the recommendation is flush the system and run the engine for other amount of hours and check the color of the coolant periodically and verify if the level of the coolant decrease a little. This is an indication that the heat exchanger is broken and the coolant is going out. Or verify if the level of the coolant increase, not decrease, increase. This is probably because a small amount of salt water entered in the coolant and the level right now is higher. This is no good, all right? This is very, very important. This is because coolant is mixed with salt water, and of course the color immediately change, and there are accumulation of sediments, and you need replace the heat exchanger or test the heat exchanger, but you need verify the heat exchanger. Okay, this is very, very, very important. And the last one is calcium. Calcium normally should be in between 5 and 170 parts per million. In between 5 and 60 parts per million is normal. In between 60 and 170 is excessive. More than 170 is catastrophic. Okay, calcium is coming exactly the same from hard water scaling, and once again the symptom is the same and the solution is the same. It's exactly the same like a magnesium, produce the same cause and consequence. My friends, this is the typical analysis when you receive the report from the laboratory of coolant. We are going to do exactly the same exercise with the report of the oil sample, and we are going to analyze each metal internally in the engine. This is the situation, this is the analysis on the coolant, and this is the procedure to check the cause, the symptom, the solution, and I have two additional columns on the table for the codes, the OBD2 codes and the DTC codes that we are going to analyze in a couple of chapters. We are going to include the codes related with each problem and what is the solution per each code. I hope you enjoy this video.